Hello, guys. Welcome to another exciting episode. I'm so glad you're here. We've got some great conversations lined up today that you won't want to miss. So sit back, relax, and let's jump right in. This is Emma, and you're tuned in to Daily Talk in English.
Hey everyone, super pumped for today's topic. It's one that I think a lot of people struggle with, but also something that can make a huge difference in our daily lives. We're talking about self-confidence. Specifically, how to overcome those fears that hold us back and feel more comfortable speaking English.
Yes, let's be real here. Speaking English, whether it's in a job interview, at a party, or just in casual conversation, can be super intimidating for a lot of people. And we've all been there, right? Feeling that fear of saying the wrong thing or sounding silly. It's normal. But the thing is, we have to push past that fear if we want to make progress.
Exactly. So let's break it down. First of all, Emra, what do you think is the root of this fear? Why do we freak out about speaking sometimes?
I think it's definitely the fear of making mistakes. Like, we put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. No one wants to sound like a total beginner or worse, like they don't belong in the conversation. But guess what? Everyone starts somewhere. And making mistakes is actually how we get better. It's how we learn.
Oh, 100%. And I think people forget that. Like, when we're learning anything new, mistakes are part of the process. But yeah, there's this pressure, especially when you're speaking in a second language. You want to sound fluent and native. But here's the thing. Fluency is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that journey is not being afraid to speak. Like, so many people hold back thinking they need to be perfect first. But trust me, you're not going to get any better if you don't speak. Even if you make mistakes, you'll get a little more confident each time. And that's what really matters, right?
Totally. And you know something that really helped me when I was learning Spanish? I had to remind myself that no one's perfect, especially when they're learning something new. And guess what? People respect you for trying. Even if you make a mistake, they'll appreciate the effort. And honestly, most of the time, they won't even notice.
That's such a great point. Like, people are generally pretty understanding, especially when they see you're trying. And I think we put a lot of unnecessary pressure on ourselves. The more you practice speaking, the more natural it feels. It's not about perfection. It's about progress.
Exactly. And you know, another thing I've noticed is that the more you practice, the more you start trusting yourself. It's like a muscle, self-confidence. It gets stronger the more you use it. And that goes for speaking English too. The more you speak, the more natural it feels. And let's not forget, confidence is contagious, right?
Oh, totally. Have you ever noticed that when someone walks into a room with confidence, people kind of feel it? They carry themselves differently, and that makes others trust them more, right? It's like this energy shift. And when it comes to speaking English, if you walk into the conversation with confidence, people are way more likely to listen and engage with you.
Yes, that confidence is magnetic. But what about those days when you're just not feeling it? We all have those moments where you're like, I'm not feeling confident today, you know? So what do you do in those moments to still go for it?
That's a tough one. Honestly, I think it's all about reminding yourself that you don't have to be perfect. No one expects you to be. I've started telling myself, it's okay if I don't know every word. It's okay if I mess up. And I think when you give yourself that permission to be imperfect, it takes the pressure off and allows you to just speak without hesitation.
Yes, that's such an important point. Letting go of that perfectionism. And sometimes just giving yourself a break and saying, I'm human, I'm learning, is all you need to feel better about putting yourself out there. And you know what? People actually respect you more when you're authentic, even if you don't have all the answers.
Exactly. And it's funny because the more you let go of that fear of making mistakes, the more people actually like you because you're being real, you're being vulnerable. And that's what connects us as humans, right? It's not about being perfect, it's about being honest and present.
That's the key. And I think for a lot of people, just starting to speak more regularly is a big game changer. Even if it's just chatting with friends or practicing with someone online, the more you do it, the more confident you'll get. And it doesn't have to be some big, intimidating conversation. It can be small, casual chats that build up your confidence over time.
Right, I love that. And speaking of practicing, one thing I found super helpful when learning a language is finding a language partner, someone who you can practice with and who's there to support you, not judge you. Honestly, it makes such a difference when you know you're not in it alone.
Absolutely. Having that support system makes all the difference. So, whether it's a language partner, a friend, or even just joining a community online, that encouragement goes a long way in building confidence. Because at the end of the day, confidence is a lot about trust. Trusting yourself and trusting that people will understand where you're coming from.
Yes, and even more than that, it's about trusting the process. I think people want instant results, but building confidence takes time. Just like anything worth doing, it requires patience and practice. So the best thing you can do is just keep showing up, keep speaking, and trust that you're making progress, even when it feels like you're not.
All right, let's dive into this a bit more. Now that we've established how important it is to practice and embrace mistakes, let's talk about overcoming that initial fear of speaking. Emma, I think one of the biggest hurdles for people is just getting started. It's like this mental block that keeps people from even trying.
Oh, I totally agree. It's that feeling of, I don't know where to start, or what if I say something wrong? And let me tell you, I've been there. But the funny thing is, once you get the ball rolling, it's not as bad as you think. That first step is always the hardest, but once you've taken it, everything else just starts to feel a little easier.
Exactly. And I think part of it is that we put speaking English on this pedestal. We think it has to be perfect the first time. But hey, newsflash, that's just not realistic. And honestly, nobody expects perfection. People just want to connect, right?
Yes, people are much more interested in the conversation than in the perfect use of grammar. Think about it. When you're chatting with friends or family, do you care if they use the perfect English? No. You care about what they're saying, how they're expressing themselves. So the same goes for speaking English. It's about communicating your ideas, not about sounding flawless.
Right? And that's something that took me a while to realize. I remember being terrified of saying something wrong when I was first learning Spanish. But then I started to notice that when people would speak to me in Spanish, I wasn't judging them. I wasn't thinking about their grammar. I was just focused on what they were trying to say. And guess what? They weren't judging me either.
Yes, people care about understanding you, not about your grammar. And you know what? The more you put yourself out there, the easier it gets. Your brain starts to become more comfortable with the language, and that fear starts to fade away.
It really does. And I think one of the best ways to push through that fear is to create an environment where you're just talking. Like, start small. Don't feel like you have to give a TED talk in English. Start by talking to yourself, practicing in front of the mirror, or having simple conversations with someone who is supportive.
I love that. Talking to yourself. Honestly, it's one of the easiest ways to practice without any pressure. You can practice your phrases, try out new words, and even rehearse what you might say in a conversation. And no one's going to judge you. It's just you getting more comfortable with the language.
Exactly. And if we're being real, a lot of people do that already. When you're alone, you might find yourself speaking out loud, practicing your pronunciation, or even pretending you're having a conversation. So why not make that a real thing? Just keep talking.
And hey, if you make a mistake, big deal. Mistakes are just part of the process. I always say every mistake is a step closer to getting better. Think of it this way. Every time you make a mistake, you're learning something new. You're figuring out how to do it better next time.
I couldn't agree more. And, one thing that really helped me was finding resources that encouraged me to make mistakes, like watching videos or listening to podcasts where people talk about how they embraced their mistakes and turned them into learning moments. It's so freeing to know that messing up isn't the end of the world.
Yes, you've got to embrace the imperfections. And something I love doing is recording myself speaking English, whether it's reading a passage, giving a little monologue, or just talking about my day. It helps me hear where I need to improve, and it's such a great way to track progress.
Ooh, that's such a good idea. Listening back really shows you where you've grown, and you start to hear those little improvements. It's motivating too, right? When you hear yourself getting more fluent, it pushes you to keep going. It's like a personal cheerleader.
Exactly. And speaking of motivation, let's talk about staying motivated through the process. Because let's be real, there will be days when you don't feel like speaking or you feel like you're not improving fast enough. How do we stay on track when we're feeling discouraged?
That's the tough part. It's so easy to get frustrated when you feel like you're not making progress. But the key is to remember that progress is progress, no matter how small. If you learn one new word today, if you have a conversation without freaking out, that's a win. So celebrate the small victories.
Yes, every step counts. And I think something that helps keep me motivated is having a clear why. Like, why am I doing this? What's the goal? When you have that purpose in mind, whether it's to be able to have more fluent conversations with friends, travel the world, or even just feel more confident at work, it makes it easier to keep pushing through.
Totally. Having that reason to keep going really helps you stick with it, even on tough days. And trust me, those tough days will come, but it's just a part of the process. You just got to hang in there and remember that you're building something that will last.
Exactly. You're putting in the work now, but the rewards will come. And when you finally get to that point where speaking English feels like second nature, you're going to look back and realize that all those small steps you took really paid off.
All right, now that we've covered how to start, practice, and stay motivated, let's talk about something that's huge when it comes to self-confidence: body language. Emma, I feel like people don't realize just how much our body language affects how confident we come across, especially when speaking a second language.
Oh, for sure. Body language is everything. When we feel nervous, we tend to shrink, right? We fold our arms, avoid eye contact, maybe even fidget. But if you can stand tall, make eye contact, and smile, it makes a huge difference in how you come across, both to others and to yourself. It's like your body is telling your brain, hey, I got this.
Yes. And I've definitely seen that in action. I noticed that when I started standing up straighter and making more eye contact when speaking, I felt a lot more confident, even when I was just getting started with my Spanish. It's like the whole fake it till you make it thing, but it's legit. You start feeling more confident when you act confident.
Exactly. And you know what? That energy is contagious. Have you ever noticed how when someone's speaking with confidence, you just want to listen to them more? You're more likely to engage with them. But when they're nervous, it kind of makes you feel nervous too. So the more you own the space, the more people will be drawn to you and respect you for it.
That's so true. And going back to speaking English, one of the best things you can do is just to own your mistakes. If you say something wrong, just laugh it off. I mean, if you act like it's a big deal, the people around you will too. But if you just keep going and show that you're not fazed by it, people are going to respect you even more.
Yes, that's such a great point. People respect someone who can laugh at themselves and keep going, rather than someone who gets flustered and awkward. And the more you do that, the more natural it becomes. You stop feeling like you have to be perfect, and you realize that confidence comes from just being yourself, mistakes and all.
Exactly. And let's not forget the power of small talk. It's the perfect place to practice being more confident with your speaking. I know some people get nervous even with small talk, but it's honestly the best way to build up that comfort. You're not doing a big presentation. You're just chatting about your day, the weather, or whatever's on your mind. And it's so low stakes.
I love that. Small talk is like the perfect training ground for building confidence. Plus, it's a great way to start a conversation without the pressure. And you know what? Small talk can actually lead to bigger, more meaningful conversations. So even if it feels awkward at first, just keep pushing through. And before you know it, you'll be having those deeper chats with people.
Right? And it's not just about practicing your English. It's also about building that muscle of starting conversations. And once you get used to it, you'll be able to start conversations with anyone, anywhere. You'll just feel more confident in your ability to connect with people no matter what language you're speaking.
Yes, and don't forget, it's all about being present in the moment. When you're focusing too much on whether you're saying something correctly, you're missing the chance to actually engage with the person you're talking to. And that's what people care about, right? They want to feel heard and understood. If you can focus on that rather than obsessing over every word, you'll start to feel way more confident.
Totally. And here's the thing, people don't expect you to speak perfectly. They just want to hear you. They're not sitting there judging your every word. They're focused on what you're saying and how you're saying it. So you might as well be confident in delivering that message.
Exactly. And if you're able to give that confidence to others by just being genuine, by focusing on the message rather than the mistakes, you'll notice a big shift in how people respond to you. It's like a ripple effect. Confidence is contagious.
It really is. And I think a big part of that is knowing that you deserve to take up space. I think a lot of people hold back because they feel like their opinions or their voice don't matter as much. But the truth is, everyone's voice matters. And that's the kind of mindset that helps you speak with confidence.
Yes, yes, yes. That's such an important point. Everyone has something valuable to say. And when you realize that your voice matters, you'll naturally feel more confident when speaking. You'll start to embrace that you have a perspective, a story, a point of view that's worth sharing.
Exactly. It's not about being the loudest or the most perfect person in the room. It's about showing up as yourself and having the confidence to speak your truth. And that's powerful.
It really is. And I think the more we practice embracing who we are, the more confidence we'll have. It's not something that just appears out of nowhere. It's something we cultivate over time. So even when you don't feel super confident, just show up anyway. You'll get there.
Yep, it's a process. And with every conversation, every mistake, every success, you're moving closer to that place where speaking English, no matter how imperfect, feels second nature. So keep at it, guys. Confidence is built with every step you take. All right, so we've covered a lot today. How to start speaking, how to stay motivated, and how to embrace your mistakes. But now, let's wrap things up with a final thought on the journey to self-confidence. Emma, how do you think people can keep that momentum going even when things get tough?
That's a great question, Ben. Honestly, I think it all comes down to reminding yourself that progress is a process, not a destination. There will be good days and bad days, but the key is to keep going. Every time you speak, you're improving, even if it doesn't feel like it. It's like building a muscle. You don't see results right away, but if you stick with it, those little steps add up.
Totally. It's about trusting the process and knowing that every conversation is a step closer to where you want to be. And hey, no one's perfect, so don't stress about it. Just keep practicing and be kind to yourself when things don't go exactly how you want them to.
Exactly. I think one of the most important things is to celebrate the little victories, even if it's something small, like understanding a new word or speaking without getting nervous. Those wins matter. It's those small moments that build up your confidence over time.
For real. And let's not forget, confidence doesn't just happen overnight. It's built day by day, conversation by conversation. The more you put yourself out there, the more confident you'll become. And eventually, speaking English will just feel like a natural part of who you are.
Yes, and you don't have to do it alone. Remember, you can find support from others, whether it's through language partners, online communities, or friends. When you have that support system, it makes the journey feel less overwhelming. So find your tribe and keep moving forward together.
Exactly. And always remember there's no rush. Everyone's path to confidence is different. It's about taking it at your own pace and not comparing yourself to others. Focus on your own growth and embrace where you're at in the process.
100%. And if you ever find yourself feeling down or frustrated, just remember, confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being comfortable with who you are, flaws and all. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Laugh at yourself and keep practicing. You've got this.
For sure. And don't forget to give yourself credit for every little step. You're doing amazing, even on the days when it feels like you're not making progress. You are. It's all part of the journey.
So, to wrap things up, we hope today's episode helped you feel a little bit more confident and ready to take on the world, one conversation at a time. Just remember, confidence is a journey. Keep practicing, keep showing up, and most importantly, be kind to yourself along the way.
And if you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got more great content coming your way, and we'd love to hear what you think. Drop a comment below and let us know how you've been building your confidence or what challenges you've been facing. We're all in this together.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. So please let us know how we can keep supporting you on this journey. And don't forget, confidence is just around the corner, and we're here to cheer you on.
All right, that's a wrap for today's episode. We hope you feel inspired to take the next step in your journey. Remember, you're doing amazing, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Keep speaking, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself.
And as always, thanks for tuning in to Daily Talk in English. See you next time.